Well, California Attorney General Rob Bonta is, quote, deeply disturbed about a major change to a myriad of school districts' transgender policy that requires teachers to notify parents about a change in their child's gender identity. No doubt many parents were also deeply disturbed that their child in the school planning to keep secrets from them. Let's bring in California State Assembly member, Republican Kate Sanchez. Kate, it's great to have you on here. The LA Times writes this about the Murrieta School District, quoting here, the Murrieta Valley Unified School District on Thursday night approved a policy that requires staff to inform parents if a student is transgender or gender nonconforming, becoming the second school district in the Inland Empire to do so. And of course, both of those schools are in your district here. I mean, it's one of those things where the vast majority of people are on Temecula's team, right? On Murrieta's team. They don't want secrets being kept from them.
No, and I think this is a great example of the massive disconnect that's happening in Sacramento and between local government, local control. Parents are fed up. And the fight is here, and we're happy for it.
Yeah, and the fight is going to go on because, you know, the state of California, in my estimation, and maybe you have a different thing, you look at Rob Bonta, you look at what's happening to the Attorney General and the governor, and at some point they're going to team up, either a civil rights violation lawsuit against the school districts, or they're going to outright sue them. What do you think about that?
Well, I have to tell you, when you come between a parent and child, that is the strongest bond you have. So there will be a fight. And we are ready for it. There should be always the focus of local control. And this is what I try to tell in Sacramento, try to tell our Democratic majority, supermajority, and they seem to not want to hear it. But we're still ready for that fight.
Speaking of parents fighting for their kids, the Milwaukee Teachers Education Post, right? Because they are so angry that Moms for Liberty are actually going to hold a presidential town hall in Milwaukee. So the teachers union said, quoting, groups like Moms for Liberty are not welcome in Milwaukee. Any venue that decides to host Moms for Liberty will hear from the MTEA, the Teachers Association. Oh, such a threat. You can't hold any kind of meeting because that would be dissent.
I'm actually very proud of our presidential hopefuls for getting involved, including a lot of the suburban women. And as a parent, I'm very excited for this. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, at the very least, it'll be interesting. So the national school data, which I wanted to kind of check with you, and this is statewide, countrywide. The national school data now says that more than 25% of students are missing at least 10% of school. And this is coming from the study. In the end, students are chronically absent, missing 18 or more days a year in most places, are at higher risk of not learning to read and eventually dropping out. And that's exactly what happens. These kids can't read or write or do math at grade level, and yet they're not showing up for school.
I think the pandemic had put a farther gap between our learning loss year after year, and I think what we're seeing now is the intense disconnect. And parents used to be able to trust the schools, right?
Right.
Now they're saying, can we even trust the schools? What is the reason for us sending our children there?
Yeah.
So whether it's cost, safety, how do we re-engage? And I think it's, again, showing on a national level the disconnect between big government and what local control wants and needs.
How are they getting away with this, though? I mean, how these school districts, they get paid on student attendance. I'm wondering how this is being allowed. I mean, you would somehow have to kind of round these kids up and say, you got to go to school, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely see. And that's a big thing as far as the unions go as well.
Yeah.
Right? They want those kids in the seats, but it's not always in the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Kate Sanchez, good to see you as always.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, President Biden is spending the weekend at